Before we get into the deeper subject of this video, I want to take a moment and talk about how we as Americans, we do not live in a free state anymore. And you have to know that. This is a police state. This is a police state. You are policed on most things. It is against the law in many parts of this country to be an idiot. It's against the law to be a fool. It's against the law to make bad decisions, even when it doesn't hurt anybody but yourself. Just a small example of that. In New York City, you can't buy Cokes bigger than like 12 ounces or something like that because they don't trust you to know what's best for you. So really, it's against the law to think you know what's best for you. And this is just another example of that because we always see bad ideas popping up in various places around this country. But when you see it pop up in 17 states, something's up. Something is definitely up. And really what I'm talking about is in 17 states around this country, if your gun is stolen and you fail to report that with serial number and all, you're a criminal. You're a criminal. In a couple of these states, if it's used in a crime, you're held liable for that crime. There's a bill that they're trying to pass in Washington right now that would be that way. But in these 17 states, I'm going to list them here in a second. In these 17 states, if your gun is stolen and you fail to report it with the serial number, you are now a criminal. And what I mean by that is in many of these cases, it's a fine the first time, potentially jail time the second time. So if multiple guns are stolen and you fail to report multiple guns, you could be in a lot of trouble in these states. I also want to mention that obviously if my gun's stolen and I never reported it, really nobody knows it's stolen but me. It's when it's used in a crime that gets you in trouble. Because if that gun is found in a crime, they're going to do a reverse trace on it. And ultimately that serial number is going to lead to you. And how they do that is another video, but they're very good at it. And they do hundreds and hundreds of those a day. So here's the 17 states. So let's just get to it. If you're in these 17 states and your guns are stolen and you fail to report it with the proper serial number, you are a criminal. Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Virginia, South Carolina, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. In all of these states, if your gun is stolen and you fail to report it, you are now a criminal. So in other words, you're a criminal because you were a victim. And that's really what it's turning into. And I want to what I led with in this video was becoming a police state and it's against the law to be an idiot or it's against the law to be a fool. I want to point at that there's a lot of things I could do that's very foolish that is not a crime. Guns and ammo are being specifically targeted as a means of attacking law-abiding citizens who happen to be in possession of those things. And you're seeing it with guns more than anything else. A lot more people are doing stupid stuff with cars than they are guns. A lot more people are getting killed with cars than guns. A lot more people are having their cars stolen than their guns stolen. But yet, and a lot of those cars are used in crimes too, by the way, but yet nobody's targeting cars. They're targeting our guns. And you have to see that. it's not just we don't trust you to be able to know what's best for you anymore. And so we're going to police every aspect of that thing. But then in addition to that, we don't like this one thing that you're doing. The you gun owning folks, we're not okay with. And we're going to turn you into criminals simply because you're just enjoying your not only your Second Amendment right, but your God-given right to self-defense. And now if you make any mistakes, you're a criminal. You are a criminal. So this is just another example of it. And again, I'm going to point out like states like Washington trying to pass a bill where, not only are you a criminal for having your gun stolen, but you're also now a criminal for what you're held liable for any crime that gun is used in if that bill passes. So somebody uses it for murder, guess what you are now? You're a murderer. If you live in the state of Washington and that bill passes and your gun happens to get stolen. So, and many of these states also have laws on how you lock it up. Like I would argue again, you're a fool. Like my gun is either on me or in a safe at all times. So I would argue you're a fool if you're leaving your gun laying around anyway. But in these 17 states, you're a criminal if your gun is stolen and you don't report it. And a few of them, you're going to have other crimes like not locking it up right, or what kind of crime was that gun used for. Other crimes, other offenses start piling up on you because you owned a gun and it got stolen is why. So it's important you kind of open your eyes to these things, because we're not free to do most things. Like if you've traveled to other places in the world, you found that people can wander around and do things in other places that you can't do here. Here it's a crime to do most things in life. And that's why I'm just telling you, we're not free people anymore. We are living in a police state. And if you're living in these 17 states, it's even worse. So there you go, man. Any thoughts or insight on any of this, definitely put it below. I do want to take a moment and say that most people watch the channel, hey, they're not subscribers. Click that subscribe button. Greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests. So please don't ever, ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, love guns.